looked deflated, concave along the roof, as if it was too exhausted to stand up straight. She'd been told it was home to seniors on small pensions and to low-income families. There was warped siding on the walls, and the composite roof sported bald spots. Irritation swirled under her skin. Who dared charge rent for this dump? She counted 5 little faces with their noses smashed against the windows as she walked by. She forced a smile and waved a mitten. The children stayed inside where it was warm. The seniors were another story. Small groups of gray-haired men and old women in plastic rain bonnets milled around in the courtyard, ignoring the cold. The rain bonnets looked like clear seashells capping the silver heads, reminding Lacey of her grandmother, who'd worn the cheap hoods to protect her rinse and set. She trudged by the curious lined faces. Without a doubt, today must be their most exciting day in years. A skeleton in the crawl space under their building. Lacey shivered as her imagination spun with theories. Had someone stashed a body 20 years ago? Or had someone gotten stuck in the crawl space and was never missed? A half-dozen Lakefield cop cars crowded the parking lot. Probably the small town's entire fleet. Navy blue uniforms gathered around with hot cups of coffee in their hands, an air of resignation and waiting in their postures. Lacey eyed the steam rising from the paper cups and unconsciously sniffed. The caffeine receptor sites in her nerves pleaded for coffee as she pushed aside the flap door of the tent. "Dr. Campbell!" At the sharp voice, Lacey popped out of her coffee musings, froze, and fought the instinct to look for her father, also Dr. Campbell. The bright blue tarp at Lacey's snowy boots framed the partial recovery of a skeleton. Another step and she would have crushed a tibia and sent Dr. Perez's blood pressure spiking through the tent roof. As she ignored the doctor's glare, Lacey's gaze locked on the bones and a sharp rush surged through her veins at the sight of the challenge at her feet. This was why she accepted assignments in freezing weather. To identify and bring home a lost victim. To use her unique skills to solve the mystery of death. To put an end to a mourning family's questions. To know she made a difference. The cold faded away. The skull was present, along with most of the ribs and the longer bones of the extremities. At the far end of the tent, 2 male techs in down jackets sifted buckets of dirt and rocks through a screen, painstakingly searching for smaller bones. A huge, gaping hole in the concrete wall of the crawl space under the building indicated where the remains had been discovered. "Don't step on anything," said Dr. Perez. "Nice to see you, too." "Morning." Lacey nodded in Dr. Perez's general direction and tried to slow her racing heart. Her eyes studied the surreal scene. Bones, buckets, and bitch. Dr. Victoria Perez, a forensic anthropologist, was known as a strict ball-breaker in her field, and she didn't take flack from anyone. At 6 feet tall, she was an Amazon incarnate. A recovery site was her kingdom, and no one dared step within breathing distance of her sights before she gave her assent, and don't dream of touching anything without permission. Anything. When she grew up, Lacey wanted to be Dr. Perez. Lacey had worked with the demanding doctor on 4 recoveries before the doctor trusted her work. But that didn't mean Dr. Perez liked Lacey. Dr. Perez didn't like anyone. Black-framed glasses with itty-bitty lenses balanced on the narrow ridge of the doctor's nose. As usual, her long black hair was in a perfect knot at her neck. No stray hairs had escaped the knot, even though the doctor had been on site for 5 hours. "Nice you could make the party." Dr. Perez glanced at her watch and raised one brow. "I had to wait till my toenails dried." A sharp snort came from the woman and Lacey's eyes narrowed. Wow. She'd actually made Dr. Perez laugh. Well, sort of. Still, it should give Lacey some bragging rights among the Emmy's staff. "What did you find?" Lacey's fingers yearned to start on the puzzle. This was the best part of her job, a mystery to decode. White female, age 15.